The Force is old and full of shadows.
The war is ending. 3 years of bloodshed across 1,000 systems. 3 years of Jedi leading clone armies against separatist droids. 3 years of a republic slowly transforming into something darker, harder, more militaristic. On Utapau, General Grievous falls. Obi-Wan Kenobi's blaster shot punches through the cyborg's chest, igniting his internal organs. The separatist military commander collapses, his mechanical body sparking and dying on the landing platform. The war should end with him. But in the Supreme Chancellor's office on Coruscant, Palpatine smiles. Grievous's death is exactly what he's been waiting for, the final piece falling into place. The Separatists are leaderless. The Republic is exhausted. The Jedi are scattered across the galaxy, embedded with clone units, vulnerable. The moment has arrived. Palpatine reaches for his secure comlink, preparing to transmit the order that will destroy the Jedi Order and transform the Republic into his empire. 3 words that will activate inhibitor chips in 3 million clone troopers' brains, overriding their loyalty and forcing them to murder their Jedi generals. Execute Order 66. But something has changed. Something Palpatine doesn't know about yet. 6 months ago, on Coruscant, a clone trooper named Fives discovered the truth about the inhibitor chips. He tried to warn the Jedi. He was killed by Commander Fox before he could fully explain, his words dismissed as the ravings of a malfunctioning soldier. But Captain Rex heard him. Ashoka Tano heard him. And they didn't dismiss it. They investigated, quietly, carefully. They found evidence, medical records from Kamino, testimony from the Kaminoan scientist Nala Se, autopsies of clones who died from chip malfunctions. The conspiracy was real. The chips were real. And they had to act. Over 6 months, working in absolute secrecy, they removed chips from select clones. Not many. The surgery is dangerous, requires skilled medical personnel, and risks alerting whoever planted the chips. But they freed key personnel, commanders, captains, medics who could perform the surgery on others. By the time Grievous dies on Utapau, 347 clones across the Grand Army of the Republic have had their chips removed. It's a fraction of 3 million. But those 347 clones are positioned strategically, with Jedi generals across the galaxy ready to act when the order comes. Because Rex and Ahsoka know it's coming. They don't know when. They don't know who will give the order. But the chips exist for a purpose, and that purpose is approaching. On Utapau, Commander Cody stands behind Obi-Wan Kenobi on a cliff overlooking the sinkhole where Grievous died. Obi-Wan is recovering his lightsaber from the wreckage. Cody receives a transmission on his helmet comlink. Priority Alpha, Supreme Commander Authority. The hologram of Palpatine appears. His face is cold, emotionless. Commander Cody, the time has come. Execute Order 66. Cody's chip activates. The organic control device buried in his brain near the pituitary gland fires, overriding his personality and loyalty. His hand moves to his blaster. His eyes fix on Obi-Wan's back. The Jedi is 30 meters away, vulnerable, focused on retrieving his weapon. 1 shot. That's all it would take. But Cody's chip was removed 4 months ago. The surgery was performed by Kix, the 501st's chief medical officer, in a medical bay on Coruscant. Cody volunteered after Rex explained the conspiracy, after Rex showed him the evidence and made him understand what the chips would force them to do. When the activation signal fires, Cody's chip isn't there to receive it. His hand moves toward his blaster, muscle memory responding to the transmission, but his mind remains his own. He freezes, fighting the impulse. "General Kenobi!" Cody shouts, his voice urgent. "Get down!" Obi-Wan turns, confused. Behind Cody, other clone troopers of the 212th Attack Battalion have received the same order. Most of them still have their chips. They raise their blasters, targeting Obi-Wan. Cody tackles the nearest trooper, spoiling his aim. The shot meant for Obi-Wan hits the cliff wall instead, spraying stone fragments. "Ambush!" Cody yells. "General, run!" Obi-Wan doesn't understand what's happening. His own troops are shooting at him, but he trusts Cody's warning. He leaps off the cliff, using the Force to guide his fall into the water below. Blaster fire follows him down. Some shots miss. Others hit the water around him, superheating it into steam. He surfaces, gasping, and scrambles onto a rock outcropping. Above, he can hear blasters firing, not at him, but at each other. Clone fighting clone. Cody is fighting his own men, trying to stop them from pursuing Obi-Wan. But there are only 3 freed clones in the 212th out of hundreds. The odds are overwhelming. "Commander, stand down," one trooper shouts at Cody. "You're compromised. The chip must have malfunctioned." "There is no malfunction," Cody fires back, stunning rather than killing when possible. "The order is wrong. Don't you see? We're being forced to kill Jedi." But chip-controlled clones don't see, don't question. They only obey. They turn their weapons on Cody, recognizing him as an obstacle to their programming. Cody takes cover behind a rock formation, outnumbered 50-1. He keys his comlink to a frequency only freed clones know. "This is Commander Cody, 212th. Order 66 is active. I repeat, Order 66 is active. All freed clones, protect your generals. It's happening." The message transmits. Across the galaxy, 347 clones receive it and act. On Kashyyyk, Master Yoda meditates in a Wookiee war room. The battle against separatist forces has been won. The droids are in retreat. Yoda sits peacefully, communing with the Force, feeling the flow of life across the planet. Then he feels it, a disturbance. Thousands of lights in the Force suddenly extinguished, Jedi dying simultaneously. Across dozens of worlds, his eyes snap open. Begun it has. Commander Gree enters the war room, his helmet on, his posture tense. Behind him, 6 clone troopers. All armed, all moving with mechanical precision rather than the easy camaraderie clones usually display around Jedi. "Master Yoda," Gree says, his voice flat, "the Supreme Chancellor has issued Order 66. You are to be executed for treason against the Republic." Yoda's hand moves to his lightsaber. "Executing Jedi you are. Think for yourselves, can you not? The order is absolute. There is no alternative. A chip in your brain there is. Controlling you. Fight it, you must." But Gree's chip is intact. He can't fight it. He raises his blaster, targeting the ancient Jedi Master who has served the Republic for 900 years. Before he can fire, a Wookiee bowcaster bolt takes him in the chest. Chewbacca and Tarful burst into the room, roaring. More Wookiees follow, engaging the clone troopers with primal ferocity. The clones fire, taking down several Wookiees, but they're overwhelmed by sheer numbers and rage. Yoda uses the Force to disarm the surviving clones, then flees with the Wookiees. As they escape into the forests of Kashyyyk, Yoda reaches out through the Force, trying to sense how many Jedi remain. Too few. Far too few. The death toll is catastrophic, but not total. Some survive. Some have warning. Some have freed clones protecting them. On Felucia, Aayla Secura leads her troops through jungle terrain. The mission is complete. The Separatist stronghold has fallen. They're returning to their base camp for extraction. Commander Bly walks beside her, his DC-15 rifle slung over his shoulder. They've fought together for 2 years, saved each other's lives dozens of times. There's mutual respect, even affection, between them. Bly receives the transmission. His chip activates. But Bly's chip was removed 3 months ago. He volunteered after hearing about Five's discovery, after seeing the evidence Captain Rex compiled. When the activation signal fires, nothing happens. Bly keeps walking. His hand doesn't move to his weapon. His eyes don't fix on Ayla's back. He remains himself. Behind him, the other clones of the 327th Star Corps are not so fortunate. Their chips activate. They raise their weapons, targeting their general. Bly hears the movement, the metallic click of safeties disengaging, the shift of armor as weapons are brought to bear. He spins, placing himself between Aayla and the firing squad. "Stand down!" Bly roars at his men. "Do not fire. That is an order." "Commander, move aside," one trooper says, his voice emotionless. "The general must be eliminated. Order 66. "There is no Order 66. You're being controlled. Fight it." But they can't fight it. They open fire. Bly's armor takes the first shots. The impacts stagger him, but he holds position, his body shielding Aayla. She ignites her lightsaber, the blue blade hulling to life, deflecting subsequent shots. "Bly! What's happening?" "The chips. They activated." "Ma'am, we need to run." Aayla doesn't understand the reference. Chips? But she understands the threat. Her own troops are trying to kill her. She grabs Bly and uses the Force to enhance their speed, racing through the jungle as blaster fire tears through the foliage around them. Behind them, the 327th pursues. Hundreds of clone troopers, all programmed to kill their Jedi general. 2 figures, One Jedi, one freed clone, running for their lives through hostile terrain. On Cato Neimoidia, Plo Koon flies his starfighter above the planet's bridge cities. The battle is over. The Separatists are defeated. He's performing a final recon sweep before the fleet withdraws. His clone wingmen receive Order 66. Their chips activate. Their targeting computers lock onto Plo Koon's fighter. They fire. Plo Koon senses the danger through the Force an instant before the shots hit. He banks hard, evading the first volley. His shields absorb 2 hits, but the third punctures his hull, venting atmosphere. Oddball report. Plo Koon's voice is calm despite the crisis. Why are you firing on me? Order 66, General. You are to be executed for treason. I have committed no treason. Stand down immediately. Negative. The order is absolute. They fire again. This time there's no evasion. Multiple shots strike Plo Koon's fighter. The fuel lines rupture. The ship explodes in a fireball over Cato Neimoidia, taking one of the Jedi Council's wisest members with it. No freed clones in his unit. No warning. Just death. On Megiddo, Ki-Adi-Mundi leads his troops through crystal canyons. Order 66 activates. Commander Bakara and the Galactic Marines raise their weapons. No freed clones here either. Ki-Adi-Mundi dies in a hail of blaster fire, his body riddled with holes, collapsing onto the crystalline ground. The Jedi who once argued for the creation of the clone army is killed by that very army. On Salukami, Stas Ali rides a speeder bike through open plains. Her clone escorts receive the order. They accelerate, flanking her, and open fire at point-blank range. Her speeder explodes, she dies instantly. On Kalar, Depa Bilaba fights beside her Padawan, Caleb Doom. Order 66 activates. Her clones turn on her. She holds them off long enough for Caleb to escape into the forest. She dies covering his retreat, but Caleb survives. One more Jedi saved by a master's sacrifice. Across the galaxy, the pattern repeats. Jedi dying by the dozens, but also Jedi surviving. More than in the original timeline where Order 66 was a complete surprise, because in this timeline some clones were warned, some clones were freed, and some clones chose to save their Jedi rather than kill them. The survival rate is still catastrophic. Of nearly 10,000 Jedi, approximately 7,000 die in the first hour of Order 66. But 3,000 survive that initial purge, a 30% survival rate instead of 1%. 3,000 Jedi scattered across the galaxy, now hunted by the very army they once commanded. On Coruscant, in the Jedi Temple, Master Mace Windu feels the disturbance through the Force. Thousands of deaths, Jedi extinguished like candles in a storm. His face hardens. It's happening, just as Fives warned, just as Rex and Ahsoka investigated. He turns to the Jedi around him, Masters Shak Ti, Luminara Unduli, Barriss Ophi, and a dozen others who were at the temple rather than deployed with the Grand Army. Order 66 has been activated. The clones are turning on our people. How is this possible? Luminara asks, her voice tight with shock. The clones are loyal. We've fought beside them for 3 years. Inhibitor chips, control devices in their brains. We suspected this might happen. That's why we've been removing chips from select clones over the past 6 months. But we couldn't reach everyone. Most clones are still controlled. Then we must evacuate the temple, Shak Ti says, if the Coruscant garrison receives the order. As if summoned by her words, blaster fire erupts outside the temple. The Coruscant Guard, led by Commander Fox, is marching on the temple. Thousands of clone troopers in red-marked armor, all chip-controlled, all programmed to kill Jedi. Seal the doors. Mace commands. Get the younglings to the evacuation transports. Masters, to the walls. We hold them as long as we can. The Jedi Temple becomes a fortress. Blast doors slam shut. Jedi Knights and Masters take positions at windows and ramparts, their lightsabers ignited. Below, clone troopers set up heavy weapons, preparing to storm the building that has been the Jedi's home for 1,000 years. Inside the temple, younglings are herded toward hidden hangar bays. Padawans grab what archives they can carry, holocrons, ancient texts, irreplaceable knowledge. If the temple falls, these are the seeds of the Order's future. Mace Windu stands on the temple's main balcony, looking down at the clone army assembled below. He recognizes Commander Fox at the front, the officer who killed Fives, the officer whose chip remains intact. Commander Fox! Mace's voice carries through the Force, amplified so everyone can hear. Stand down. You're being controlled. There are chips in your brains forcing you to do this. You are guilty of treason against the Republic. Fox responds, his voice emotionless. Surrender and you will be given a trial. Resist and you will be eliminated. We've committed no treason. The real traitor is Chancellor Palpatine. He planted those chips. He's orchestrating this. Your lies will not save you, traitor. All units, prepare to breach. The clone army advances. ATT walkers lumber forward, their mass driver cannons targeting the temple's walls. LAT gunships swarm overhead, their ball turrets swiveling toward Jedi positions. The Battle of the Jedi Temple begins. In the Senate building, Anakin Skywalker races through corridors toward Chancellor Palpatine's office. He's just returned from a mission to the Outer Rim, landed at a military spaceport, and immediately sensed the disturbance in the Force. Jedi dying. Thousands of them. His comlink crackles with Rex's voice. General Skywalker, Order 66 has been activated. The clones are killing Jedi. You need to get to safety. Rex, what's happening? Where's Ahsoka? She's at the temple, helping with the evacuation. Sir, you need to know, Chancellor Palpatine is behind this. The chips were his plan. He's the Sith Lord we've been searching for. He's Darth Sidious. The words hit Anakin like a physical blow. Palpatine, his mentor, his friend, the man who believed in him when the Council doubted. A Sith Lord? Rex? That's impossible. Palpatine has been our ally throughout the war. Sir, we have evidence. Medical records from Camino. Testimony from scientists. The chips were installed under his orders. He's been playing both sides, using the war to accumulate power. And now he's destroying the Jedi to complete his takeover. Anakin's mind races. He thinks about his private conversations with Palpatine. The way the Chancellor always seemed to know things he shouldn't. The subtle way he undermined Anakin's faith in the Council. The promises of power and knowledge beyond the Jedi's teachings. It fits. It all fits. Where is he now? His office, we think. Sir, be careful. If he really is Sidious, he's more dangerous than anyone we've faced. Anakin cuts the transmission and runs faster. His prosthetic right hand, lost at Geonosis, the battle that started this cursed war, clenches into a fist. If Palpatine is responsible for Order 66, for the deaths of thousands of Jedi, then Anakin will stop him, even if it means killing the man who's been like a father to him. He reaches the Chancellor's office. The door is closed, guarded by 2 red-clad Senate guards. They move to stop him, but Anakin uses the Force to push them aside gently. He needs answers, not more violence. The office door opens. Inside, Palpatine sits at his desk, his face calm, his hands steepled. He looks up as Anakin enters. Ah, Anakin, I was expecting you. What's happening? The clones are killing Jedi. Across the entire galaxy. Did you order this? Palpatine's expression doesn't change. Order 66. Yes, I transmitted it. The Jedi have attempted to overthrow the Republic, Anakin. They're traitors. The clones are simply following their programming. Programming? You mean the inhibitor chips? The control devices you planted in their brains. So you know about those. Impressive. I underestimated Captain Rex's initiative. Yes, the chips exist. They're a necessary security measure against a Jedi coup, which, as it turns out, was quite necessary. Anakin ignites his lightsaber, the blue blade humming between them. The Jedi aren't traitors. You are. You're Darth Sidious. You created the Clone Wars. You've been manipulating everyone. Palpatine stands slowly, his grandfatherly demeanor evaporating. His eyes harden, his voice drops, becoming colder. I am many things, Anakin. Sidious is one of them, but traitor? No. I am the Republic's savior. I've brought order to a galaxy drowning in corruption and inefficiency. The Jedi were obstacles to that order. Now they're being removed. I won't let you. Won't let me? Palpatine's smile is cruel. Anakin, you can't stop me. Order 66 is already active. Thousands of Jedi are already dead. The survivors are being hunted. The Republic is mine. And soon, you'll understand that I'm offering you the greatest gift possible. The power to save Padme from the death you fear. Anakin freezes. What did you say? I know about your visions, Anakin. I know you see Padme dying in childbirth. I know you're terrified of losing her. The Jedi can't help you. Their teachings forbid the very attachment you feel. but I can teach you to save her, to use the Force to preserve life itself. All you have to do is join me. It's the offer Anakin has feared and desired in equal measure, the promise of power enough to prevent the death he's seen in nightmares. But the cost? Serving the man who just murdered thousands of his friends. No, I don't believe you can save her, and even if you could, I won't serve a Sith Lord. Then you're a fool. Palpatine's hand moves. Force lightning erupts from his fingertips, crackling blue energy that crosses the space between them in an instant. Anakin's lightsaber intercepts the lightning. The blade absorbs the energy, sparks flying. But the power is immense, pushing Anakin back step by step. His boots slide on the polished floor. You see? Palpatine's voice rises. This is the power of the dark side. Power the Jedi denied you. Power that could save everything you love. Join me, and we'll bring order to the galaxy together. Father and son. Emperor and apprentice. Never, Anakin pushes back, his anger fueling his strength. The lightning stops. He charges forward, his blade arcing toward Palpatine's chest. But Palpatine moves with inhuman speed. A red lightsaber appears in his hand, hidden in his sleeve, always there, always ready. He parries Anakin's strike, and they duel across the office, their blades clashing with explosive force. Anakin is powerful, one of the greatest duelists in the Order. His Form V gem so relies on strength and aggression, overwhelming opponents with raw power. But Palpatine is a Sith Lord. He's been training in secret for decades. His technique is flawless, his movements impossibly fast, and he's not holding back. The duel is vicious. They destroy Palpatine's office. Furniture explodes, art shatters, the floor cracks under Force-enhanced impacts. Anakin presses hard, his fear for Padme and rage at the Jedi deaths fueling every strike. But it's not enough. Palpatine is simply better. He toys with Anakin, testing him, looking for weaknesses to exploit later. Finally, Palpatine disengages, leaping back to the window. Impressive, young Skywalker. You're even more powerful than I anticipated. But you're not ready to face me. Not yet. When you've lost everything, when Padme dies because you were too weak to save her, come find me. I'll be waiting. He shatters the window with the Force and leaps out, falling toward the Coruscant traffic lanes far below. Anakin rushes to the broken window, but Palpatine is already gone, caught by a waiting speeder piloted by someone Anakin doesn't recognize. The Sith Lord escapes. Ache-2, the Siege Anakin, stands at the shattered window of Palpatine's office, watching the speeder disappear into Coruscant's traffic. His lightsaber is still ignited, his prosthetic hand trembling with adrenaline and fury. He failed. The Sith Lord who orchestrated the deaths of thousands of Jedi just escaped. And worse, Palpatine knows about Padme, knows about Anakin's fears, knows exactly how to manipulate him. His comlink crackles. Mace Windu's voice strained. Skywalker, where are you? We need every Jedi at the temple. The Coruscant Guard is attacking. We're holding them, but barely. I'm at the Senate. I confronted Palpatine. Master Windu, Rex was right. Palpatine is Darth Sidious. I dueled him. He escaped. Then Mace's voice hard with anger and vindication. Then we have confirmation. The Chancellor, former Chancellor, is our enemy. The Republic is leaderless in the middle of a coup. Anakin, get to the temple. We need to coordinate our defense and figure out our next move. On my way. Anakin deactivates his lightsaber and runs. As he races through the Senate building, he passes senators and their aides, all confused and frightened by reports of violence at the Jedi Temple. Some recognize him. General Skywalker, what's happening? Why are clone troopers attacking the temple? Stay in your offices, Anakin calls back. Lock your doors. Don't go outside. The Republic is under attack. He commandeers a speeder from the Senate landing platform and flies toward the temple at maximum speed. Even from a distance, he can see the battle. Laser fire streaking up from the ground, explosions blossoming against the temple's walls, smoke rising into Coruscant's polluted sky. The Jedi Temple, symbol of peace and justice for 1,000 generations, is under siege by the very army it helped create. Inside the temple, the situation is desperate. Clone troopers have breached the lower levels, fighting room by room against Jedi defenders. The corridors are filled with blaster fire and the hum of lightsabers. Bodies, both clone and Jedi, litter the ground. Mace Windu coordinates the defense from the council chamber. Holographic displays show the temple's layout, red markers indicating clone positions, blue markers showing Jedi forces. The red is overwhelming the blue. East Wing is collapsing, reports Jedi Knight Sarah Keto, her voice crackling over the comlink. We can't hold them. Too many clones, too few of us. Fall back to the archives, Mace orders. Seal the blast doors behind you. We'll make them fight for every meter. Master Shock T stands beside Mace, her face grim. The younglings? Evacuating through Hangar Bay 7. Master Luminara is leading them. They should be clear in 15 minutes. If we can hold that long, we hold as long as it takes. No youngling gets left behind. On the temple's walls, Jedi Knights deflect blaster fire with their lightsabers, protecting the evacuation routes. Some use the Force to collapse corridors, creating choke points where the clones can't bring their numbers to bear. Others engage the enemy directly, their blades cutting through clone armor. But for every clone that falls, 10 more advance. The Coruscant Guard numbers in the thousands. The Jedi in the temple number barely 300. Most of the Order was deployed with the Grand Army when Order 66 activated. Jedi Master Sin Dralig, the temple's chief of security and battlemaster, leads a squad defending the main entrance. He's one of the finest duelists in the Order, his lightsaber a blue blur as he deflects incoming fire and cuts down clones who get too close. They're bringing up heavy weapons, one of his Padawans shouts. ATT walkers, Sin Dralig curses. The temple's walls can withstand small arms fire, but not mass driver cannons. All units fall back to secondary defensive positions. Abandon the outer walls. The Jedi retreat deeper into the temple as the ATT cannons open fire. The ancient stone walls shatter under the bombardment. Dust and debris fill the air. Sections of the building collapse, crushing clones and Jedi alike under tons of rubble. Commander Fox watches the assault from his command post. His chip-controlled mind feels no remorse about attacking the Jedi Temple. The Order is absolute. The Jedi are traitors. They must be eliminated. Artillery is effective, he reports to whoever is coordinating the attack. He doesn't know, doesn't care, just follows orders. We'll have full breach in 10 minutes. Infantry is ready to storm the interior. Proceed, comes the response. A voice Fox doesn't recognize. Cold. Mechanical. Whoever's running this operation is maintaining tight control. The clones advance through the breaches, fighting into the temple proper. The architecture becomes their enemy. Narrow corridors where their numbers mean less, meditation chambers where Jedi have defensive advantages, training rooms where young Padawans use their practice to deadly effect. Jedi Knight Ayla Sakura, who survived the attempt on her life on Felucia thanks to Commander Bly, has made it back to Coruscant. She fights alongside other survivors, coordinating the defense through the Force, rather than communications that might be intercepted. Beside her, Commander Bly, chip removed, loyal by choice rather than programming, leads a squad of freed clones. They're fighting their own brothers, stunning when possible, killing when necessary. It's the nightmare scenario every clone feared. Brother against brother, the army tearing itself apart. Left flank, Bly shouts, hostiles incoming. Chip-controlled clones pour through a collapsed wall. Bly's squad opens fire, their blue stun bolts mixing with red lethal shots from the enemy. Several freed clones fall, their armor no protection against their brother's weapons. Ayla ignites her lightsaber and charges into the enemy formation. Her blue blade weaves through the incoming fire, deflecting shots back at their sources. She's not trying to kill. These clones are victims, not willing participants. But she's not letting them kill innocents either. Surrender, she calls out, her voice carrying over the chaos. You're being controlled. The chips in your brains are forcing you to do this. Fight it, but chip-controlled clones can't hear her. Can't process the plea. They only know the order. Execute Order 66. Kill the Jedi traitors. They fire. Ayla deflects. The battle continues. Anakin's speeder lands in one of the temple's external hangars, not the main entrances, which are now war zones but a smaller bay on the eastern side. He abandons the speeder and runs into the temple, his lightsaber drawn. The corridors are a maze of smoke and debris. He passes Jedi he's known for years, some wounded, some dying, some dead. The temple that was his home since he was 9 years old is being destroyed room by room. He finds a group of Padawans pinned down by clone fire, their position untenable. He force pushes the attacking clones backward, giving the Padawans time to retreat. Fall back to the council chamber, he orders. Regroup with Master Windu. Master Skywalker, One of the Padawans, a young Twi'lek girl he taught lightsaber forms to last year, looks at him with terrified eyes. Why are the clones doing this? Why are they trying to kill us? They're being controlled. Chips in their brains. They don't want to do this, but they can't stop themselves. Now go. Stay low, stay together. The Padawans flee. Anakin continues toward the council chamber, cutting through clone squads, disabling their weapons with precise force techniques, trying not to kill when he can avoid it. These are good men, victims of Palpatine's conspiracy, but some he has to kill. When the choice is between a clone trooper's life and a Jedi youngling's, there's no real choice at all. He reaches the council chamber. Mace Windu looks up from the tactical displays, his face etched with exhaustion and grief. Anakin. Good, you're here. We need every... Mace stops, seeing something in Anakin's expression. What happened with Palpatine? I confronted him. He admitted everything. He is Sidious. He activated Order 66, and when I tried to stop him, he escaped. Anakin's voice is hollow. Master, he knows about Padme, about my marriage, about my fears of losing her. He's been manipulating me for years. We suspected as much. That's why we kept your relationship secret from most of the council. Not to punish you, but to protect you from exactly this kind of manipulation. Mace's expression softens, just slightly. Anakin, whatever Palpatine offered you, whatever promises he made, I refused him. I'm not joining a Sith Lord. But Master, he's still out there, still in control, and we're trapped in this temple while he consolidates his power. We won't be trapped for long. The evacuation is nearly complete. Once the last younglings are away, we abandon the temple and scatter. The Jedi Order becomes a resistance movement rather than a centralized institution. We'll fight back, but from the shadows. It's a bitter plan. The Jedi who stood openly as guardians of peace, reduced to fugitives and guerrillas. But it's survival, and survival means future hope. Where do we go? Different groups to different locations. Some to Alderaan. Senator Organa has offered sanctuary. Some to the Outer Rim. Some to planets with no Republic presence. We spread out, making ourselves harder to hunt. And we take the younglings with us, ensuring the Order's future. Shaak Ti joins the conversation. We've also been in contact with freed clones across the galaxy. Captain Rex is coordinating resistance from multiple units. They're protecting Jedi who survived the initial purge and helping them escape. It's not much, but it's something. How many survived? Anakin asks, dreading the answer. Mace checks a datapad, his face grieving. We estimate 3,000 Jedi lived through the first wave of Order 66, out of nearly 10,000. It's a catastrophic loss. Entire lineages wiped out. Masters, knights, Padawans, dead across 100 worlds. But 3,000 survived, Shaak Ti adds. In a normal Order 66 scenario, if we hadn't discovered the chips, if we hadn't freed those clones, fewer than 100 Jedi would have lived. The freed clones saved thousands of lives. It's cold comfort. 7,000 dead is still 7,000 dead. But the alternative was worse. Much worse. An explosion rocks the temple. The council chamber's ceiling cracks, dust raining down. Through the windows they can see more ATT walkers advancing, their cannons pounding the temple's ancient walls. We're out of time, Mace decides. Signal all Jedi forces. Abandon the temple. Everyone to evacuation transports. We leave nothing for Palpatine to capture. No holocrons, no archives, nothing that helps him hunt survivors. What about the bodies? A Jedi Knight asks quietly. Our dead. Do we just leave them? We honor them by surviving, by continuing the fight, by ensuring their sacrifice wasn't meaningless. Mace ignites his purple lightsaber. Now move. Every Jedi out. I'll hold the council chamber until you're clear. Master Windu, that's an order, Skywalker. Get the younglings to safety. That's your priority. Anakin wants to argue, wants to stay and fight beside Mace. But he understands the hierarchy of priorities. The children must survive. The Order's future is in them. He runs toward Hangar Bay 7, where the evacuation transports are loading. The corridors are chaos, Jedi retreating in good order, covering each other, fighting delaying actions against clone forces pressing from all sides. In Hangar Bay 7, dozens of transports are loading. Younglings huddle together, their small faces terrified. Padawans help them board, counting heads, ensuring no one is left behind. Jedi Masters guard the hangar entrances, holding off clone squads trying to break through. Anakin spots Ahsoka Tano organizing one of the transports. She's 20 years old now, a Jedi Knight in all but official rank. She looks up as he approaches, relief flooding her face. Master, you're alive. So are you, Snips. Are the younglings loaded? Almost. 2 more transports need to launch, then we're clear. But Master, the clones are breaching from the North Corridor. We need to hold them 2 more minutes. Then we hold. They take position at the hangar entrance. Anakin on the left, Ahsoka on the right, both lightsabers ignited. Clone troopers appear. A full platoon, their armor marked with red, their weapons raised. Last warning, Anakin shouts. Stand down. You're being controlled. The chips can be removed. The clones don't respond with words. They fire. Anakin and Ahsoka become a wall of deflecting light. Their blades move in perfect synchronization, master and student. 2 Jedi who've fought together for years. The incoming blaster bolts are redirected into walls, into the ceiling, back at the shooter's own positions. But there are too many. The sustained fire forces them back step by step. A bolt gets through Anakin's defense, scorching his shoulder. Another hits Ahsoka's leg, making her stumble. They can't hold. Behind them, the last transport's engines roar to life. We're loaded, Master Luminar's voice calls out. Everyone aboard! Go! Anakin shouts at Ahsoka. I'll hold them. Not without you. That's an order. Ahsoka hesitates one fatal moment. Then, a massive explosion tears through the hangar, a thermal detonator thrown by one of the clones. The blast wave throws both Jedi backward. Anakin's lightsaber flies from his hand, clattering across the deck. Clone troopers advance into the hangar. Their blasters target the grounded Jedi, the loaded transports, the helpless younglings, visible through the viewport. Then Captain Rex appears. He enters from a side corridor, leading a squad of freed clones. Men without chips, men who chose loyalty over programming. They open fire on the chip-controlled clones, catching them in a crossfire. General Skywalker, Commander Tano, get on that transport. Rex and his men hold the line, their blue-marked armor distinctive against the red of the Coruscant Guard. Brother fights brother. The freed clones are outnumbered, but they fight with a desperation the chip-controlled clones lack. They're fighting for friends, for beliefs, for choices rather than just following programming. Anakin retrieves his lightsaber and drags Ahsoka toward the transport. She's limping, her leg wound bleeding. They board the ship as Rex's squad falls back, covering the retreat. Rex, come on! Anakin shouts from the transport's ramp. Someone has to hold them. Rex fires again, dropping 2 clone troopers. Get those younglings out of here. That's what matters. I'm not leaving you, sir. That's an order from a captain to a general. Leave. Now. The transport's pilot doesn't wait for Anakin's decision. The engines ignite. The ramp begins to close. Anakin watches through the narrowing gap as Rex and his freed clones make their last stand, holding the hangar entrance against impossible odds. Some of Rex's men fall, but they buy the time needed. The transports launch, bursting through the hangar bay's atmospheric shield and into Coruscant's traffic lanes. Below, the Jedi Temple burns. Sections of the ancient building collapse. Clone forces swarm through the breaches. And in the council chamber, Mace Windu fights alone, his purple blade weaving through clone troopers, holding them back from the evacuation routes. But even he can't hold forever. Eventually, the clones overwhelm him. He falls, cut down by blaster fire, his body collapsing in the chamber where the Jedi Council has met for 1,000 years. The Jedi Temple falls. The evacuation transports scatter across Coruscant's sky. Some head for the upper atmosphere, preparing to jump to hyperspace. Others dive into the lower levels, disappearing into the city's industrial underbelly. Anakin's transport climbs toward space. Inside, Jedi tend to the wounded and comfort the traumatized younglings. These children have just watched their home destroyed, their teachers killed, their entire world shattered. Ahsoka sits beside Anakin, a medical droid treating her leg wound. Rex? I don't know. He was still fighting when we left. He saved us. Him and the other freed clones. If they hadn't, they did. That's what matters. Anakin looks at the younglings huddled in the transport's cargo bay. We got them out. That's what Rex wanted. The pilot calls back from the cockpit. General, we have a problem. Republic cruisers are moving to intercept. They're hailing us. On screen, a hologram appears. An Admiral Anakin doesn't recognize. Jedi transport, you are ordered to return to Coruscant immediately. Land at Military Spaceport 7 for processing. If you attempt to flee, we will open fire. We're evacuating children, Anakin responds, keeping his voice level. Non-combatants. Let us go. The Chancellor has declared all Jedi traitors to the Republic. There are no non-combatants. Return immediately or be destroyed. The Chancellor, Palpatine, is still acting as if he's the legitimate leader of the Republic. Still giving orders, still controlling the military. Anakin cuts the transmission. Pilot, evasive maneuvers. Get us to hyperspace. Sir, they have 3 Venator-class Star Destroyers moving to cut us off. We can't outrun them. We don't need to outrun them. We just need to reach the hyperspace lanes. Plot a jump to anywhere. Just get us out of the core. The transport accelerates, diving toward the hyperspace buoys that mark the safe jump points. Behind them, the Star Destroyers turn, their turbolaser batteries charging. Green energy lances through space. The first shots miss, the gunners unable to lead a small, fast-moving target properly. But more shots follow. One grazes the transport's shields, overloading them. The ship shudders. Shields at 30%. We can't take another hit. They're not going to make it. The Star Destroyers are too close, their guns too accurate. This transport and all the younglings aboard are going to die in sight of freedom. Then a Republic cruiser drops out of hyperspace directly between the transport and the pursuing Star Destroyers. Not just any cruiser. The Resolute, Anakin's flagship. The Resolute's ventral batteries open fire on the pursuing ships, not to destroy, but to suppress. The Star Destroyers are forced to divert power to their own shields, giving the transport precious seconds. This is Admiral Yularen. A familiar voice crackles over the comlink. All Jedi transports, I'm providing cover. Jump to hyperspace immediately. I can't hold them long. Admiral, they'll label you a traitor for this. Then I'm a traitor. I've served alongside the Jedi for 3 years. I'm not watching children die because a Sith Lord gave an illegal order. Now go, General. That's my last command. The transport reaches the hyperspace lane. Stars stretch into lines. The ship jumps, leaving Coruscant and its horrors behind. In the Resolute's bridge, Admiral Wolf Yularen watches the transport escape, satisfaction on his weathered face. Around him, clone troopers, all with chips intact, turn toward him, their weapons raised. Admiral, you have aided traitors. You are under arrest. Yes, Yularen says calmly. I suppose I am. They take him into custody. The Resolute turns back toward Coruscant, but a dozen Jedi transports have escaped because of Yularen's sacrifice. A dozen transports full of younglings who will live to rebuild the Order. It's worth it. Across the galaxy, the pattern repeats. Jedi who survived the initial Order 66 purge flee their positions. Some make it to safety. Others are hunted down by clone forces or local militias responding to Republic bounties. On Kashyyyk, Master Yoda escapes with Wookiee help. Chewbacca and Tarful smuggle him off-planet in a hidden compartment aboard a merchant vessel. The ancient Master goes into hiding, his location known only to a few trusted allies. On Felucia, Aayla Secura and Commander Bly fight their way to a separatist landing site, abandoned after the war ended, and steal a ship. They jump to hyperspace moments before reinforcements arrive. On Utapau, Obi-Wan Kenobi survives Commander Cody's warning in the subsequent battle with chip-controlled clones. He steals Grievous's personal starfighter and escapes into the unknown regions, disappearing from Republic sensors entirely. Across 100 worlds, similar stories unfold. Jedi escape by the skin of their teeth. Freed clones sacrifice themselves to save their generals. And slowly, painfully, the survivors begin to regroup. But 3,000 survivors scattered across the galaxy do not make an order. They make refugees. Fugitives, survivors huddling in the dark while their enemy consolidates power. In Coruscant's Senate chamber, Palpatine addresses the Republic. His face appears on holoscreens across 1,000 systems. His voice is grave, sorrowful, perfectly pitched to convey reluctant duty. My fellow citizens, today the Republic faced its gravest threat. The Jedi Order, long trusted as guardians of peace, attempted to overthrow the government. They failed. But in failing, they revealed themselves as traitors to everything the Republic stands for. Evidence has been uncovered of a Jedi plot to seize control of the Senate, eliminate political opposition, and establish a religious dictatorship. When confronted with this evidence, the Jedi attacked. They forced me to activate emergency contingencies, including Order 66, which authorized clone forces to neutralize the Jedi threat. Many Jedi died resisting arrest. Others escaped and remain at large. They are enemies of the Republic. Anyone harboring them is guilty of treason. Anyone with information on their whereabouts must report immediately to local authorities. But citizens, do not despair. The Republic endures. Your Senate remains. Your government continues. And I promise you this, we will rebuild. We will emerge from this crisis stronger than before. We will create a new order. One based not on ancient mysticism, but on law, security, and strength. The Republic will become an empire, and I, with your Senate's approval, will guide it as its first emperor. Together, we will ensure this galaxy never faces such a threat again. Together, we will bring lasting peace. The Senate, intimidated and confused, approves. The motion passes. The Republic dies. The Galactic Empire is born. And Sheev Palpatine, Dark Lord of the Sith, becomes emperor. Anakin's transport emerges from hyperspace near a remote asteroid field in the mid-rim. Other transports arrive over the next hour. Ships from different evacuation routes, all following pre-arranged coordinates provided by the Jedi Council months ago as contingency planning. They gather in the shadow of a massive asteroid, their ships huddling together like frightened animals. Representatives from each transport meet via hologram to assess the situation. Master Shak Ti takes charge. She survived the temple assault and escaped with a transport full of healers and younglings. Report. How many made it out? My transport has 43 younglings and 12 Jedi, Master Luminara reports. 37 younglings, 15 Jedi, says a Nautolan knight Anakin doesn't recognize. The numbers come in. 12 transports total. 416 younglings. 173 Jedi Knights and Masters. It's a fraction of the order that existed yesterday. But it's survival. What about Jedi who weren't at the temple? Anakin asks. Survivors from the battlefield? We're receiving scattered transmissions, Shak Ti replies. Coded messages from across the galaxy. Best estimate, 3,000 Jedi survived Order 66's initial execution. Most are in hiding. Some are trying to reach the rendezvous points we established. Others are just trying to stay alive. And the clones? The freed clones? Captain Rex's last transmission indicated heavy casualties among the freed units. They fought to protect Jedi and paid the price. Exact numbers unknown. But the survivors are regrouping, trying to free more of their brothers. It's an overwhelming situation. The Jedi Order has been functionally destroyed. Its temple is in ruins. Its members are scattered and hunted. The Republic they served has become an empire under Sith rule. We need a plan, Anakin says. We can't just hide and hope things get better. We need to survive first, Luminara counters. Gather our strength. Find safe locations. Then we can plan resistance. Resistance against what? Another Jedi asks. The entire Republic? The clone army? Emperor Palpatine has control of everything. Not everything, Ahsoka interjects. He doesn't control the freed clones. He doesn't control systems in the Outer Rim that barely acknowledge Republic authority. He doesn't control the separatist holdouts who haven't surrendered yet. There are cracks in his power. We can exploit them. From what position? The other Jedi demands. We're fugitives. Criminals in the eyes of the Republic we served. We have no resources, no bases, no public support. We have the Force. We have each other. And we have the truth. Anakin's voice is firm. Palpatine is a Sith Lord. He manufactured the Clone Wars. He's been manipulating the galaxy for decades. We expose that truth, we turn public opinion against him. And who will believe us? Luminara asks gently. The Republic just watched the Jedi attempt a coup. Palpatine has crafted the narrative perfectly. We're the villains in his story. Then we change the story. Find evidence. Build a case. Get it to senators like Bail Organa and Mon Mothma who might listen. Fight back through information rather than violence. It's a reasonable plan. But before they can discuss implementation, alarms sound across all the transports. Sensors detect ships emerging from hyperspace. Not Republic cruisers, something worse. 3 Venator-class Star Destroyers drop out of hyperspace, surrounding the asteroid field. Their weapons are already charging, their fighter bays deploying squadrons of V-Wing interceptors. All Jedi transports. This is Captain Tarkin of the Imperial Navy. You are surrounded. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction. Tarkin. Anakin recognizes the name. An ambitious officer who's been rising through Republic ranks, known for ruthlessness and efficiency. Of course Palpatine would promote him. How did they find us? Someone asks. Voice panicked. Tracking devices. Shock T realizes. On the transports, planted by the Coruscant Guard before we escaped. They let us run so they could follow us here, catch multiple transports at once instead of hunting us individually. Can we jump to hyperspace? Not without calculations. These asteroids make blind jumps suicidal. Then we fight, Anakin says. All transports, evasive maneuvers, get into the asteroid field where their big ships can't follow. Use the cover, buy time for the Navi computers to plot jumps. The Jedi transports scatter, diving into the asteroid field. The Star Destroyers can't follow. Their size and mass make maneuvering through dense asteroid fields impossible. But their starfighters can. V-wings pursue the transports, firing proton torpedoes and laser cannons. One transport takes a torpedo hit, it explodes, vaporizing instantly. 40 younglings and 15 Jedi, gone in a flash of light. Anakin's transport weaves through asteroids, the pilot pushing the engines to their limit. Behind them, V-wings pursue, their shots impacting asteroids and sending fragments spinning through space. Nava computer at 50%, the pilot shouts. 30 seconds. We don't have 30 seconds. A V-wing lines up a perfect shot. The torpedo launches, spiraling toward the transport's engines. Ahsoka reaches out with the Force, trying to deflect it, but she's not strong enough. The distance is too great. The torpedo hits and detonates against a shield, not the transport's shields. An external shield. A ship has interposed itself between the transport and the torpedo, taking the hit deliberately. It's a small Corvette, older model, heavily modified, and broadcasting on Jedi frequencies. All transports, follow me. I know a route out of this field that'll mask your hyperspace signatures. Move. The voice is unfamiliar, but the Force signature is not. A Jedi, someone who survived Order 66 and came here to help. The Corvette leads the transports deeper into the asteroid field, navigating through gaps that seem impossibly narrow. The V-wings try to follow, but several collide with asteroids, their wreckage spinning off into space. They reach a clear area. The Navicomputers finish calculations. One by one, the transports jump to hyperspace, escaping the Imperial trap. 11 transports remain. One was destroyed, but the survivors are free. For now, Act 3. The Scattered Order. The surviving transports emerge from hyperspace in the Alderaan system. The green-blue planet hangs before them, peaceful and beautiful. A stark contrast to the violence they've just escaped. Senator Bail Organa has kept his promise. His private security forces guide the Jedi transports to secluded landing zones in Alderaan's northern mountain ranges, far from populated areas and prying eyes. As the ships land on hidden platforms carved into the mountainsides, Bail himself is waiting. "Welcome to Alderaan," he says as Anakin and Ahsoka disembark. The senator's face is grave. "I've heard what happened on Coruscant. The temple, the proclamation. I'm sorry, General Skywalker. The Republic we fought for is gone." "Not gone," Anakin corrects. "Transformed. Perverted. But the ideals remain. We just need to reclaim them. From an emperor with an army of 3 million clone troopers? From a Sith Lord who's been manipulating galactic politics for decades?" Bail shakes his head. "I admire your optimism, but we need to be realistic. Right now, survival is the priority." He's right, and Anakin knows it. The Jedi aren't in a position to fight. They need time to regroup, to assess their resources, to plan their next move. And they need safety for the younglings who depend on them. Bail has prepared facilities in the mountains, old mining complexes converted into living quarters, far from Alderaan's cities but equipped with necessities. It's not luxurious, but it's shelter. And more importantly, it's hidden. Over the next 3 days, more Jedi arrive. Not just from Coruscant, but from across the galaxy. They come in small ships, stolen shuttles, merchant vessels whose captains sympathized with the Order. Each arrival brings news of the galaxy's transformation. Master Obi-Wan Kenobi arrives from the unknown regions, his face haggard and aged by recent trauma. He survived Commander Cody's warning on Utapau, fought his way off planet, and has been running ever since. When he sees Anakin, relief floods his features. Anakin, thank the Force. I feared you'd been killed in the temple assault. I survived. So did Ahsoka. And we got the younglings out, most of them anyway. Master Obi-Wan, Palpatine is Darth Sidious. Yes, I know. Captain Cody told me before his chip activated. The evidence Rex and Ahsoka compiled was correct all along. We've been fighting beside our enemy's army for 3 years, never realizing we were being positioned for slaughter. The guilt in Obi-Wan's voice is palpable. He's always been the model Jedi, wise, composed, dedicated, but Order 66 has shaken him to his core. How does a Jedi Master reconcile serving as a general in an army designed to murder him? Master Yoda arrives next, smuggled from Kashyyyk by Wookiee allies. The ancient Grand Master looks older than Anakin has ever seen him, the weight of the Order's near destruction bowing his shoulders, but his eyes remain sharp, his presence in the Force still powerful. Gather the survivors must, Yoda announces to the assembled Jedi. Count our numbers, assess our strength, plan our future. The gathering takes place in the largest chamber of the mountain complex. 473 Jedi are present, everyone who made it to Alderaan. Others remain in hiding across the galaxy, too far away or too hunted to risk travel. Yoda stands at the chamber's center, his small form somehow commanding despite his size. Failed we have. The darkest day in Jedi history this is. 7,000 dead. The temple destroyed, the Republic fallen. Sith rule returned. The assembled Jedi are silent, processing the enormity of their loss. But despair we must not. Survived we have. And where life remains, hope remains. Rebuild we will. Not as we were, that path led to failure, but as we must be. Adaptable. Hidden. Strong in ways beyond lightsabers and force powers. Master Shak Ti steps forward. We need to understand why we failed, not to assign blame, but to learn. How did we miss the conspiracy? How did we serve beside an army programmed to kill us without sensing the danger? Arrogance, Obi-Wan says quietly. We believed ourselves too wise to be deceived. We trusted the Republic too completely. We assumed our enemy would reveal himself obviously rather than hiding beside us. And we ignored warnings, Anakin adds, thinking of fives. When evidence of the chips appeared, most of the Council dismissed it. If we'd investigated sooner, freed more clones maybe nothing, Yoda interrupts gently. Play the game of what if, we should not. Focus on what is, we must, and what is. Scattered, we are. Hunted, we are. But alive, we are. That matters most. What about the clones? Ahsoka asks. The freed ones who protected us. Are they just abandoned now? No, a new voice says. Captain Rex enters the chamber, his armor battle-scarred, his face exhausted. He survived the temple assault, barely. After holding the hangar long enough for the transports to escape, he and 3 freed clones fought their way out through maintenance tunnels. The freed clones are regrouping, spreading across the galaxy. Our mission is to remove as many chips as possible and build a resistance network inside the Grand Army. How many freed clones are there? Obi-Wan asks. Last count, 647. We lost over half during Order 66 execution. But those who survived are recruiting. Every chip we remove is another soldier who can think freely, question orders, resist the Empire. 600 against 3 million, Master Shak Ti observes. Those are impossible odds. Then we make the impossible happen. It's what soldiers do. Rex looks around the chamber at the Jedi who survived. You taught us that. Now we're teaching our brothers. Anakin feels a surge of gratitude toward Rex. The clone captain has lost everything. His army, his purpose, most of his brothers. But he's still fighting, still loyal not to orders but to principles. We need a plan, Anakin says. 3 goals. First, protect the survivors. Second, expose Palpatine's conspiracy to the galaxy. Third, build a resistance movement that can challenge the Empire. Ambitious, Luminara notes. How do we accomplish any of that with less than 500 Jedi and no resources? We have allies, Bail Organa interjects. He's been observing from the chamber's edge. Not everyone in the Senate supports Palpatine's empire. Mon Mothma, Garmbel Iblis, Fengzar. We've been quietly organizing since the war began, concerned about the Chancellor's accumulation of power. Now that he's declared himself emperor, we have more support than ever. Support in the Senate means nothing if Palpatine controls the military, Obi-Wan points out. Not nothing. It means legislative resistance. Slowing down his initiatives. Protecting worlds that don't want imperial occupation. It's not much, but it's a start. And evidence, Anakin presses. Proof that Palpatine is Sidious? That he created the Clone Wars? We're working on it. Financial records. Testimony from Kaminoan scientists who designed the chips. Communications logs. It's circumstantial, but it's building. Give us time, and we'll have a case. Yoda taps his gimmer stick on the floor. Time we have little of. Hunt us, the Empire will. Every day, more dangerous we become to Palpatine. Strike at us, he will, before we can organize. Then we scatter again, Shock T suggests. Not all together, but in small cells. Harder to find, harder to eliminate. We spread across the galaxy, hidden but connected, waiting for the moment to act. It's a sound strategy. But it means the end of the Jedi Order as a centralized institution. No more temple. No more council meeting in one place. Just scattered groups of survivors, maintaining the tradition as best they can. What about the younglings? Master Luminara asks. They need training. Structure. Masters to guide them. Then we provide it just differently. Each cell takes younglings, trains them in small groups, the old Padawan system. One master, one apprentice. We return to the Order's roots. And the code? Another Jedi asks. Do we maintain the old teachings? The prohibitions on attachment, on emotion? Anakin tenses. The code's prohibition on attachment has been his secret shame for years. His marriage to Padme, hidden from all but a few, a constant source of guilt. But maybe Order 66 proves the code needs re-examination. The code failed us, Anakin says, and several Jedi turned to stare. It kept us isolated, made us afraid to form deep bonds outside the Order, made us easy to paint as detached mystics unconcerned with ordinary people. If we're going to survive, we need to connect with the galaxy, and that means allowing Jedi to have families, relationships, attachments that make us part of the communities we protect rather than separate from them. Dangerous that path is, Yoda warns. Attachment leads to fear of loss. Fear leads to the dark side. Does it? Or does suppressing attachment lead to unhealthy isolation? Master Yoda, I'm married. I have been for 3 years, to Senator Padme Amidala. And that attachment hasn't led me to the dark side. It's given me something to fight for beyond abstract ideals. The revelation lands like a bomb. Several Jedi gasp. Others look shocked. But Obi-Wan just smiles slightly. He's known for years. Married? Master Luminara looks scandalized. Skywalker, that's a direct violation of the code. A code that just got 7,000 Jedi killed. Maybe it's time we question our traditions. Anakin's voice is firm but not angry. I'm not saying abandon discipline. I'm saying allow Jedi to be human, to love, to have families. Because right now, we need allies. We need ordinary people to see us as protectors rather than aloof warriors. And we need to give our younglings something to hope for beyond a lifetime of loneliness. The chamber erupts in debate. Some Jedi support Anakin's position. Others vehemently oppose it. The Order is fracturing not just physically but philosophically. Yoda raises his hand for silence. Debate this we will. But not now. Survive first, we must. Philosophy later. Rex, coordinate with freed clones. Bail, continue building Senate resistance. Obi-Wan, Anakin, Shock T, plan our dispersal. Small cells, hidden locations, communication protocols. Make ourselves ghosts. The meeting adjourns. The Jedi scatter to their assigned tasks. But the question lingers. What kind of order are they rebuilding? One that clings to failed traditions? Or one that adapts, changes, becomes something new? Anakin finds Padme in one of the mountain complex's smaller chambers. She arrived on Alderaan 2 days ago, smuggled off Coruscant by Bail Organa's operatives. She's safe for now. When she sees Anakin, relief floods her face. She runs to him, and they embrace, holding each other with desperate intensity. I thought you were dead, she whispers. The reports said the temple was destroyed, that all the Jedi were killed. Most were, but I survived. We survived. Padme, it's over. The Republic, The Jedi Order as we knew it, everything we fought for. Palpatine won. Not won. Anakin, he declared himself emperor, but half the Senate opposes him. Worlds are refusing to acknowledge imperial authority. The people haven't accepted this yet. There's still hope. We're fugitives. Criminals. The Empire will hunt us until we're extinct. Then we run. And while we're running, we fight. Anakin, I'm pregnant. The words stop him cold. Pregnant. They're going to have a child. In the middle of this catastrophe, with the galaxy burning and their lives in constant danger, they're bringing a new life into existence. Are you sure? The medical droids confirmed it 2 days ago. I'm about 6 weeks along. Anakin, I know the timing is terrible, but this baby, our baby, is hope. Proof that life continues, even in darkness. Anakin thinks about his nightmares, visions of Padme dying in childbirth. Palpatine used those visions to try to turn him, promising power to prevent her death. But Anakin refused, chose the light, and now he has to trust that the visions were just fear, not prophecy. We'll protect you, both of you. I won't let anything happen to either of you. I know, but Anakin, we can't hide forever. Eventually, we have to fight back, for our child's future. For the galaxy's future. She's right. Survival isn't enough. They need victory. But how does a scattered remnant of 400 Jedi defeat an empire with unlimited resources and an army of millions? 6 months pass. The Jedi disperse across the galaxy, establishing hidden cells on remote worlds. The Empire hunts them relentlessly, offering bounties using Imperial propaganda to paint the Jedi as traitors and terrorists. Some cells are discovered and destroyed, others survive through vigilance and luck. Anakin, Padme, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan establish a cell on Tython, the ancient Jedi homeworld, long abandoned, its location forgotten by most of the galaxy. The planet is strong in the Force, wild and untamed. It's the perfect hiding place. They're not alone. 15 other Jedi join them, along with 30 freed clones led by Captain Rex, and 40 younglings, children rescued from the Temple assault, who need training and protection. They build a small encampment hidden in Tython's forests, simple structures, easily abandoned if discovered. Training grounds for the younglings. Communication equipment to stay in contact with other cells. It's not the Jedi Temple, but it's home. Anakin trains the younglings in lightsaber combat, teaching them the forms he learned as a Padawan, but he emphasizes control, discipline, fighting only when necessary. These children have already seen too much violence. Ahsoka teaches Force techniques, meditation, sensing, minor telekinesis. She's grown into her role as a knight, mature beyond her 20 years. Obi-Wan focuses on philosophy and history, ensuring the younglings understand what the Jedi were before Order 66, what they could become after. And Padme grows heavier with pregnancy. She's 6 months along now, her belly swollen, the child active. Anakin feels his son or daughter through the Force, bright, alive, strong in the potential that all Force-sensitive children carry. His nightmares have returned, visions of Padme dying. But this time, he has medical droids, Jedi healers, every resource their small community can provide. He won't let the visions become reality. One evening, as Anakin and Padme walk through Tython's forests, she asks the question that's been bothering her for months. What happens after? If we defeat Palpatine somehow, if the Empire falls, what then? We rebuild. The Republic, the Jedi Order, everything we lost. But rebuilt how? The same way? The same Senate that became corrupt? The same Jedi Order that failed to see the threat beside them? No. Better. We learn from our mistakes. Create something stronger. And us? Our family? In the old Republic, you would have had to hide our marriage, deny our child. Will the new one be different? It has to be. The old code forbidding attachment, it isolated the Jedi, made us seem inhuman. If we're going to protect the galaxy, we need to be part of it. That means Jedi with families, with connections to ordinary people. It means you and me, together, raising our child openly. The Council won't approve. Then we change the Council. Padme, half the Order is dead. The survivors are questioning everything. This is our chance to build something better. A Jedi Order that serves without sacrificing their humanity. A republic that protects freedom without concentrating power in one person's hands. It's possible. We just have to fight for it. She takes his hand, prosthetic and flesh intertwined. Then we fight. For our child's future. For everyone's future. Meanwhile, on Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine consolidates his power. The Senate becomes a rubber stamp, approving his decrees without meaningful debate. Worlds that resist imperial authority are occupied by clone legions. Dissent is crushed, but Palpatine's victory is incomplete. The Jedi survived in larger numbers than he planned. 400 scattered across the galaxy, hidden but not destroyed. And worse, the freed clones are spreading the truth about the inhibitor chips. In the Emperor's private chambers, Palpatine meditates on the problem. He's achieved most of his goals, destroyed the Republic, eliminated most Jedi, established the Empire. But the survivors threaten everything. Every day they live is another day his enemies can rally around them. His comlink chimes. "My lord, we've located another Jedi cell. On Dantooine. 16 Jedi, 23 younglings and a group of freed clones. Dispatch the 501st. No survivors, and make it public. I want the galaxy to see what happens to Jedi who resist the Empire." "Yes, my lord." Palpatine closes the communication. The 501st, Anakin Skywalker's old legion, the unit that followed him for 3 years. Now they serve the Empire, hunting the Jedi who once commanded them. It's poetic, in a way, but Palpatine can't enjoy the irony. Because Anakin Skywalker is still alive, still leading Jedi resistance, and that's unacceptable. Skywalker was supposed to be his apprentice, his chosen one, the most powerful Force user in a generation, turned to the dark side and serving at Palpatine's right hand. But Skywalker refused the offer. Fought back. Now Palpatine has no apprentice. Just an empire built on fear rather than the power of a Sith dynasty. It's functional, but it's not the vision he spent decades planning. He needs to correct that failure. Capture Skywalker. Break him. Turn him to the dark side. Make him into what he was always meant to be, Darth Vader. Intensify the search for Anakin Skywalker. Palpatine orders. I want him found. Alive. The Empire will spare no expense. The bounty goes out across the galaxy. 1 million credits for information leading to Skywalker's capture. The greatest manhunt in galactic history focuses on one Jedi Knight who refused to bow to the Sith. On Dantooine, the 501st Legion attacks the Jedi cell with overwhelming force. The base is in open grasslands, exposed, vulnerable. The clones surround it, cutting off escape routes, then advance with heavy weapons. The 16 Jedi fight desperately. They protect the younglings, trying to evacuate them to hidden transports. But there's nowhere to run. The clones have gunships overhead, snipers in position, artillery pounding the base. Master Jocasta Nu, the temple's chief librarian, who survived Order 66 by being off-planet, leads the defense. She's not a warrior, never excelled at lightsaber combat. But she fights with everything she has, using the Force to deflect blaster bolts and create barriers. "Get the younglings to the transports," she shouts at the younger Jedi. "We'll hold them here." But the transports are already burning. The 501st destroyed them in the initial bombardment. There's no escape. The Jedi fall one by one, surrounded, outnumbered, exhausted. The younglings huddle in the base's central chamber, terrified, as blaster fire tears through the walls. When the last Jedi defender falls, clone troopers storm the chamber. They find the younglings, children aged 6 to 14, unarmed, helpless. "Eliminate them," orders Appo, the 501st commander. His chip is intact. His programming is absolute. No survivors. The Emperor's orders. The clones raise their weapons. The younglings scream. And across the galaxy, every Jedi feels the disturbance. 23 young lights extinguished from the Force. Children murdered in cold blood. On Tython, Anakin gasps, doubling over in pain. The Force screams in his mind, showing him what happened. The Dantooine cell. The younglings. The slaughter. "No," he whispers. "No. No." Ahsoka feels it too. Her face goes pale. "Master, the younglings on Dantooine. I know. I felt it." Anakin's prosthetic hand clenches into a fist. "Palpatine. This is his message. He's showing us what happens to Jedi who resist. What do? We make him pay." Anakin's voice is cold, hard. "We stop hiding and start fighting. No more running. No more waiting. We take the fight to him." Anakin, Obi-Wan approaches, his face grave. He felt the disturbance too. We're not ready for open warfare. We have 400 Jedi against an empire of trillions. If we reveal ourselves, then we die fighting instead of hiding. Master, those were children. Murdered because we didn't act. How many more cells will be discovered? How many more younglings will die while we hide and plan and debate? And if we attack, we die. All of us, including the younglings here. Is that better? Anakin wants to argue. Wants to grab his lightsaber and storm Coruscant alone. But Obi-Wan is right. Reckless action will only result in more deaths. Then what do we do? Anakin's voice is hollow. Just accept this? Let Palpatine hunt us one cell at a time until we're extinct? No. We be smarter, more strategic. We don't fight the Empire head-on. We undermine it, expose its lies, turn public opinion, build a movement strong enough to challenge Palpatine when the time is right. Revenge is the dark side's path, Anakin. Justice requires patience. It's the answer Anakin doesn't want to hear, but it's the right answer. The wise answer. The Jedi answer. He takes a breath, centering himself. The anger doesn't disappear. It burns in his chest like a hot coal. But he controls it, channels it, makes it fuel for the long fight ahead rather than an excuse for reckless action. All right, we do it smart. But Master, we need a victory. Something that shows the galaxy the Jedi aren't broken. That we're still here, still fighting, still relevant. What did you have in mind? Anakin thinks. Then smiles grimly. A prison break. Palpatine's holding political prisoners. Senators who opposed him, military officers who refused illegal orders, civilians who spoke out against the Empire. They're in a detention facility on Stygian Prime. We break them out. Free them publicly, show the galaxy that resistance is possible. Obi-Wan strokes his beard. Dangerous, but achievable. If we plan carefully, then we plan. Gather intelligence. Identify weaknesses, and we hit them hard and fast. Show the Empire that the Jedi aren't victims. We're warriors, and we remember how to fight. Over the next month, the Jedi plan the Stygian Prime operation. They gather intelligence from freed clones who still have access to Imperial networks. They study the prison's layout, security systems, guard rotations. They identify extraction routes and escape vectors, and they assemble a strike team. Not everyone that would leave the younglings unprotected, but a carefully chosen group. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and 12 other Jedi Knights skilled in infiltration and combat, plus Rex and 20 freed clones equipped with captured Imperial armor and weapons. The plan is surgical. Infiltrate during a shift change when security is weakest, free the prisoners, extract before reinforcements arrive, in and out in 30 minutes. No unnecessary risks. They arrive at Stygian Prime in a stolen Imperial transport. The planet is desolate. A barren rock with minimal atmosphere, chosen specifically because prisoners can't survive outside the facility. The prison itself is a fortress carved into the planet's largest mountain, its walls reinforced with durasteel. But every fortress has weaknesses, and the Jedi have found them. They land at the prison's secondary hangar, claiming engine trouble. The guards, clone troopers with chips intact, are suspicious but not alarmed. Imperial transports have mechanical issues all the time. State your business, the hangar commander demands as Anakin exits the transport, wearing stolen officer's uniform. Prisoner transfer, Anakin responds, his voice flat and authoritative. We're picking up 3 dissidents for interrogation on Coruscant. Authorization code Tau-79 EPCCO. The commander checks his datapad. The code is valid. Stolen from Imperial networks by freed clones who still have access. Very well, but I need to inspect your transport before you proceed. Of course, right this way. The commander and 4 clone troopers enter the transport's cargo bay. Rex and the freed clones are waiting inside, their weapons raised. Sorry, brothers, Rex says, stunning them with blaster fire set to disable. Nothing personal. The guards collapse. Rex and his men strip them of weapons and comlinks, then tie them up securely. No deaths if possible. These clones are victims, not willing enemies. Phase 1 complete. They're inside. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and the other Jedi move deeper into the prison, using the Force to sense and avoid patrols. They reach the detention levels where the political prisoners are held. The cells are cramped, cold, designed for maximum discomfort. Inside, men and women who dared to speak against the Empire sit in despair, waiting for execution or life imprisonment. Anakin finds Senator Bail Organa's contact, former Admiral Wolf Yularen, arrested for helping Jedi escape Coruscant. The Admiral looks thin, beaten, but his eyes light up when he sees Anakin. "General Skywalker, you're alive?" "So are you." "Come on, Admiral, we're getting you out of here." They move through the detention levels, opening cells, freeing prisoners. 23 in total. Senators, officers, journalists who reported on Imperial atrocities, all marked for death or permanent imprisonment. "Follow us," Obi-Wan instructs. "Stay quiet. Move quickly. We'll get you to the hangar." They retrace their route. But alarms begin blaring. Someone discovered the unconscious guards. The prison locks down, blast doors, sealing corridors, turrets activating. "So much for stealth," Ahsoka mutters. Then we fight our way out. Everyone, defensive formation. Jedi on point, prisoners in the center. "Move!" They run through corridors as clone troopers converge on their position. Lightsabers ignite. Blue, green, 1, purple. The Jedi deflect blaster fire, protecting the prisoners, cutting through opposition with precision strikes. Rex and the freed clones provide covering fire, their shots perfectly placed to suppress without killing when possible. They're fighting their brothers, and the pain of it shows on every freed clone's face. They reach the hangar. The stolen Imperial transport is still there, engines running. But between them and escape are 50 clone troopers, all armed, all programmed to stop any escape attempt. "Last chance," Anakin calls out. "Stand down. We don't want to kill you. You're being controlled by chips. Fight the programming." "Negative," Commander Appo responds, the same officer who led the Dantooine massacre. "You are enemies of the Empire. Surrender or be eliminated." Then we go through them. Anakin charges, his lightsaber blazing. The other Jedi follow. The battle is vicious. Blaster fire fills the hangar, ricocheting off walls and ceiling. Jedi move like dancers, their lightsabers deflecting shots, their force powers hurling clones aside. But they're outnumbered, and the clones are well trained. One Jedi Knight falls, shot through the chest. Another takes a glancing hit and staggers. They're losing. Then reinforcements arrive. But not Imperial. A ship drops through the hangar's atmospheric shield, guns blazing. It's the Corvette that saved them in the asteroid field months ago. The same mysterious Jedi who helped them escape. The Corvette's guns suppress the clone positions, giving the Jedi time to reach their transport. They load the freed prisoners aboard while Rex and his men provide covering fire. "Everyone in," Anakin shouts. "Go, go, go!" The transport and the Corvette launch simultaneously, bursting through the atmospheric shield and into Stygian Prime's thin atmosphere. Behind them, the prison deploys TIE fighters, the new Imperial starfighters faster and deadlier than Republic designs. The two ships race toward orbit with TIE fighters in pursuit. Laser fire streaks past, some shots hitting shields. The transport's pilot weaves desperately, buying time for the navicomputer to calculate a hyperspace jump. The Corvette engages the TIEs. Its guns surprisingly effective. Several TIE fighters explode, their pilots killed instantly. But more keep coming. "Jump calculated," the transport pilot shouts. "Engaging hyperdrive." The stars stretch into lines. The transport vanishes into hyperspace, carrying the freed prisoners to safety. The Corvette follows a moment later, leaving Stygian Prime behind. The operation is a tactical success. 23 prisoners freed, no Jedi killed, 1 wounded but recovering. And most importantly, proof that the Empire is vulnerable, that resistance is possible. The freed prisoners are debriefed at the Tython base. Admiral Yularen provides intelligence on Imperial operations. The senators offer to carry the message of resistance to sympathetic systems. The journalists begin documenting Imperial atrocities, building evidence for future trials. And the mysterious Jedi from the Corvette finally identifies himself, Quinlan Vos, a Jedi Master who survived Order 66 through sheer luck and skill. He's been operating alone, conducting his own one-man resistance against the Empire. "Why help us?" Obi-Wan asks. "Because we're stronger together. Lone Jedi might survive, but we can't win alone. We need an organization. A movement. Something worth fighting for." Quinlan grins, his scarred face fierce. Besides, breaking into Imperial prisons is more fun with backup. The victory at Stygian Prime energizes the surviving Jedi. Word spreads through the scattered cells the Empire can be hurt. The fight isn't hopeless. Resistance matters. But it also draws attention. Palpatine now knows the Jedi are operating in organized cells rather than just hiding individually. He intensifies the hunt. More bounties. More resources devoted to finding and destroying the scattered order. The war has begun in earnest. Not clone armies against droid armies. Not Republic against separatists. But Empire against Jedi. Tyranny against freedom. Darkness against light. And in Padmé's quarters on Tython, as she enters her 9th month of pregnancy, Anakin holds her close and whispers promises he hopes he can keep. We'll win this. Build a better galaxy. Give our child a future worth living in. I believe you, Padmé says. But Anakin, whatever happens, to us, to the war, to everything, promise me you won't fall to the dark side. Don't let fear or anger turn you into what Palpatine wanted you to become. I promise. The dark side took everything in that other timeline. My body, my soul, my family. I won't let it take me again. I'll stay in the light. For you, for our child. For everyone who's counting on us. She kisses him, and for a moment, the war disappears. There's only them. Only love. Only hope. Outside, the twin suns of Tython set over the forest, painting the sky in gold and crimson. And in the Force, the future remains unwritten. 1,000 possibilities, each one depending on the choices made in the present. The Jedi Order is broken, but it's not destroyed. Not yet. And where there's life, there's hope. AK-84, the reckoning Padmé goes into labor during Tython's dawn. Anakin senses it through their Force bond before she says a word. The sudden spike of pain, the contractions beginning, their child preparing to enter the world. It's time, she gasps, gripping his hand. The medical facility on Tython is primitive compared to Coruscant's hospitals. A converted storage building with basic equipment, a medical droid salvaged from a crashed transport, and Jedi healers whose skills are more spiritual than surgical. But it's all they have. Master Shaak Ti leads the medical team. She's trained in Jedi healing techniques, can use the Force to ease pain and monitor life signs. As Padmé's labor progresses, Shaak Ti reaches out through the Force, sensing both mother and child. The baby's strong, she reports. Healthy, but Senator Amidala is exhausted. This pregnancy has been stressful, and the labor is difficult. Anakin stands beside Padmé holding her hand, his flesh hand, not the prosthetic. She squeezes so hard his fingers go numb, but he doesn't complain. Her pain is his pain. Her fear is his fear. I'm here, he whispers. I'm not going anywhere. You're going to be fine, both of you. Promise me, Padmé says between contractions. If something goes wrong, if you have to choose between me and the baby, nothing's going wrong. You're both going to survive. I won't lose you. Not like the visions, but the visions haunt him. Padmé dying, their child born into tragedy. The nightmare future where Vader rises from the ashes of Anakin Skywalker's hopes. Hours pass. The labor intensifies. Padmé screams, her strength failing. The medical droid reports complications. The baby isn't positioned correctly. The birthing process stalling. We need to perform surgery, the droid states flatly. Cut the child free before oxygen deprivation causes permanent damage. Do it, Anakin orders. Whatever it takes. Save them both. The surgery is quick. The medical droid's precision is perfect, its instruments cutting through flesh with minimal trauma. And then, a cry. High-pitched, outraged, full of life. Their son is born. Anakin stares at the tiny, screaming infant, his child. His son, the baby he feared would never exist, born healthy and strong despite everything. Luke, Padmé whispers, exhausted but alive. His name is Luke. They clean the baby and place him in Padmé's arms. She looks down at him with infinite love, her face pale but glowing. Anakin reaches out with the Force, sensing his son. Bright in the Force, powerful with potential, but also just a baby. Helpless, dependent, innocent. He's perfect, Anakin says, his voice breaking. He's ours, Padmé smiles. We did it, Ani. We broke the prophecy. The visions were wrong. But even as relief floods through him, Anakin feels something else through the Force. A disturbance. Distant but growing closer. Danger approaching Tython. Master Skywalker. Captain Rex bursts into the medical facility, his face grim. We've got Imperial ships dropping out of hyperspace. 3 Star Destroyers and a full complement of support craft. They've found us. The moment shatters. No time to celebrate. No time to rest. The Empire has found their hidden base, and they're coming with overwhelming force. Anakin looks at Padme, who's barely conscious from the surgery, looks at Luke, minutes old and completely vulnerable. Then at Rex. Evacuate everyone. All Jedi, all younglings, all freed clones. Get them to the transports. We have maybe 20 minutes before those destroyers are in bombardment range. What about you? I'll buy you time. Me and anyone else who can fight. Now go! Rex runs to organize the evacuation. Anakin bends down to kiss Padme's forehead. I have to go. Keep Luke safe. I'll come back. I promise. Don't promise things you can't control, Padme says, but her eyes are fierce. Just fight. Win. Come back to us. Anakin runs from the medical facility, pulling on his robes, checking his lightsaber. Outside, the Tython base is organized chaos. Jedi herding younglings toward transports, freed clones loading supplies, everyone moving with desperate urgency. Obi-Wan appears beside him. 3 Star Destroyers. Anakin, we can't fight that much firepower. Our transports will be destroyed the moment they launch. Then we ground the destroyers. Take out their engines, their weapons systems. Give the transports time to scatter and jump to hyperspace. With what? We have no starfighters. No capital ships. Just Jedi and small arms. Then we improvise. Anakin looks up at the sky where the Imperial ships are visible as growing dots against the clouds. Master, remember that mission on Cato Nimordia when we disabled that cruiser from inside? You're suggesting we board an Imperial Star Destroyer? 3 of them, simultaneously? Small teams infiltrate while they're deploying ground forces. Take out critical systems from inside. It's suicide, but it gives the evacuation a chance. Obi-Wan strokes his beard. You know, when you were my Padawan, I spent years trying to teach you not to attempt suicide missions. Clearly, I failed. I learned from the best. That's what worries me. Obi-Wan sighs. All right, we do it, but Anakin, if this goes wrong, it won't. It can't. My son is on this planet. I'm not letting him die hours after being born. They gather volunteers. Jedi willing to risk everything for the youngling's escape. Ahsoka immediately steps forward. Quinlan Vos grins and nods. A dozen others join, their faces set with determination. 3 teams, Anakin organizes. I'll take Team 1 to the lead Star Destroyer. Obi-Wan, you take Team 2 to the portside ship. Quinlan, Team 3 to starboard. We infiltrate during their fighter launch, use the confusion to reach engineering sections. Plant charges on the hyperdrive reactors. The explosions will cripple them long enough for our transports to escape. And our escape? One Jedi asks. We improvise. Steal shuttles, fight our way out, whatever works. Focus on the mission first. Survive second. They requisition the few ships available. Maintenance shuttles, cargo haulers, anything spaceworthy. Not combat vessels, but they'll have to do. Rex and his freed clones volunteer to pilot and provide fire support. The 3 teams board their vessels and launch toward the descending Star Destroyers. The Imperial ships are deploying landing craft, AAT walkers, LAAT walkers, preparing for ground assault. Anakin's shuttle flies into the chaos of the deployment zone, dodging between larger ships. Imperial TIE fighters patrol the area, but they're focused on potential threats from space, not tiny shuttles rising from the planet. Approaching the Executrix, Rex reports from the pilot's seat. That's the lead destroyer, its massive bulk filling the viewport. Their hangar bay is active, fighters launching, ground troops deploying. I can slip us in if we time it right. Do it. Rex pilots with precision, threading through the traffic of Imperial craft. They enter the Executrix's main hangar bay just behind a squadron of TIE fighters, their small shuttle lost in the visual noise. They land in a maintenance area. Anakin, Ahsoka, and 4 other Jedi disembark, moving quickly through the hangar. Clone troopers are everywhere, thousands of them, all in white Imperial armor, all with chips intact. Stay low, stay quiet, Anakin instructs. We're looking for maintenance access to the engineering levels. Kill only if necessary. These clones are victims, not enemies. They find a maintenance shaft. The Jedi slip inside, crawling through the destroyer's internal structure. The ship is massive, over a kilometer long, with systems spread across dozens of decks. But Anakin knows Venator-class architecture from 3 years of commanding them. He navigates toward the hyperdrive reactors like he's lived here. Alarms begin blaring. Someone discovered their shuttle. Security will be looking for intruders. Move faster, Anakin orders. We're out of time. They reach the engineering section. The hyperdrive reactors are massive cylinders humming with energy, protected by ray shields and guarded by clone engineers. Taking out these systems will cripple the ship, but it requires getting past the guards without alerting the entire destroyer. I'll create a distraction, Ahsoka volunteers. You plant the charges. Before Anakin can argue, she's running toward the guards, her lightsabers ignited. Hey, over here! Come get me! The clones turn, seeing a Jedi, and open fire. Ahsoka deflects, drawing them away from the reactors. It's a classic move, sacrifice position for tactical advantage. Anakin and the other Jedi rush to the reactors, while the guards are distracted. They plant thermal detonators on critical junction points, set to detonate on remote trigger. Enough explosives to disable the hyperdrive without destroying the entire ship. They want the destroyer crippled, not vaporized with thousands of clones aboard. Charges set. One Jedi reports. Fall back, everyone out. They run, retracing their path through maintenance shafts. Behind them, more clone troopers converge on their position, alerted by the commotion. Blaster fire fills the corridors. One Jedi falls, shot through the back. Another takes a hit to the leg and can't keep running. They're picked off one by one as they fight toward the hangar. Anakin and Ahsoka reach their shuttle. Only 3 of their original 6 Jedi made it back. The losses are brutal, but the mission isn't complete until they're clear. Rex, get us out of here. The shuttle launches, barely escaping the hangar as the bay doors begin to close. TIE fighters pursue, their guns blazing. Rex weaves through the enemy fire with desperate skill. Anakin, blow the charges. Ahsoka shouts. We're far enough. Anakin triggers the detonator. Behind them, the executrix shudders. Multiple explosions tear through its engineering sections. The hyperdrive goes offline. Emergency systems activate, and the massive ship begins listing as attitude control fails. One destroyer down. Similar scenes play out at the other 2 destroyers. Obi-Wan's team successfully plants their charges but loses 4 Jedi in the escape. Quinlan Voss's team barely makes it out at all. Only Quinlan and 1 other Jedi survive, but their charges detonate perfectly, crippling the 3rd destroyer. 3 Imperial Star destroyers, dead in space. Their weapons are still functional, but they can't maneuver, can't pursue. And on the ground, the clone forces are disorganized, their command and control disrupted by the ship's malfunctions. All transports launch now, Anakin transmits. Get to the rendezvous point. Go. From the Tython base, 12 transports launch. They carry all the Jedi younglings, most of the freed clones, the medical personnel, and the supplies they could salvage. Everything else is left behind. Padme is on one of those transports, holding newborn Luke, still weak from surgery, but alive. She looks back at Tython's surface, wondering if she'll ever see Anakin again. The transports scatter, jumping to hyperspace from different vectors to make tracking impossible. Imperial forces try to intercept, but without the Star Destroyer's coordination, they fail. The younglings escape, but not everyone makes it. 2 transports are destroyed before they can jump, shot down by persistent TIE fighters or caught by destroyer turbo lasers before the ships were fully disabled. 87 Jedi and younglings die in the explosions. The survivors regroup at the designated coordinates, a hidden station in the Outer Rim, abandoned by the Republic decades ago but still functional. It's not home, but it's safe. For now, on the station, Anakin reunites with Padme and Luke. His son is sleeping, tiny and perfect. Padme is recovering, her strength slowly returning. We lost people, Anakin tells her. Good Jedi. Younglings who deserved better, but we saved most of them. And we proved the Empire isn't invincible. At what cost? Padme asks quietly. How many more times can we run before there's nowhere left to hide? Then we stop running, we fight back. Build a resistance strong enough to challenge the Empire directly. Anakin, we have 300 Jedi left, maybe 600 freed clones, against an empire of trillions. How do we win that fight? One battle at a time, one freed clone at a time. One liberated world at a time, Padme, the Empire exists because people are afraid. Fear makes them compliant. But if we can show them resistance is possible, that the Empire can be hurt, fear turns into hope. And hope is more powerful than all the Star Destroyers Palpatine can build. It's optimistic, maybe naive, but it's all they have. Over the next year, the Jedi resistance grows. Slowly, painfully, but steadily. More freed clones join their ranks. Rex's network spreads across the Grand Army, removing chips one soldier at a time. More systems refuse Imperial authority, encouraged by news of Jedi victories like Stygian Prime, and more Jedi survive. Not the thousands who died in Order 66, but hundreds scattered across the galaxy, slowly making contact with each other, building networks, establishing safe houses. The movement needs a symbol, a leader who can unite the scattered resistance and give them direction. The surviving council members, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Shakti, debate who should fill that role. Anakin Skywalker, Yoda says. The best choice, he is. Young, charismatic, proven in battle. Follow him, beings will. Trust him, they will. But he's impulsive, Obi-Wan argues. He takes risks, makes emotional decisions. Leading a resistance movement requires patience and calculation, not the qualities Anakin is known for. Perhaps, but inspire hope. He does. And hope, we need more than strategy. They ask Anakin. He refuses at first. He's not a politician, not a leader in that sense. He's a warrior, a father now. He wants to fight, not administrate. But Padme convinces him. You're the symbol they need, Ani. The Jedi who defeated Palpatine in personal combat and lived, the hero of the Clone Wars, the man who saved the younglings from the Temple assault. If you lead, people will follow. I don't want to lead. I want to be with you, with Luke. Watch him grow up. Have a life. You can't have that life while the Empire exists. None of us can. So you lead. You fight. You make a galaxy where Luke can grow up free. Then, when it's over, we have our life together. So Anakin accepts. He becomes the public face of the Jedi resistance. His name spreads across the galaxy. Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi who defied the Emperor. The bounty on his head increases to 5 million credits. Palpatine wants him captured more desperately than ever, but Anakin remains free, and under his leadership, the Resistance achieves victories. They liberate a clone training facility on Kamino, freeing 200 cadets before their chips can be activated. They raid an Imperial weapons depot on Lothal, distributing arms to local resistance groups. They rescue Jedi from internment camps on 3 different worlds. Each victory is small, but together they build momentum. The Empire bleeds resources trying to hunt the Jedi while also maintaining control over newly annexed systems. Worlds begin to question whether Imperial rule is worth the cost. In the Senate, now just a facade for Palpatine's dictatorship, Senator Bail Organa leads a quiet resistance. He and Mon Mothma secretly fund the Jedi movement, providing resources and intelligence. They can't oppose the Empire openly, but they sabotage it from within, and the freed clones multiply. Rex's network grows to 3,000, then 5,000. Each freed clone removes chips from his brothers when opportunities arise. It's dangerous. Discovery means death. But the clones are soldiers. They understand sacrifice. The Empire responds with brutality. Palpatine orders mass executions of any clone suspected of disloyalty. Entire battalions are purged for minor infractions. The clone army, once 3 million strong, begins to shrink as Palpatine replaces them with recruited humans, stormtroopers whose loyalty is ensured through indoctrination rather than brain implants. But the transition takes time. And in that time, the freed clones spread the truth. Videos of chip removal surgeries circulate through underground networks. Testimony from freed clones is shared in secret. Slowly, the galaxy learns what the Empire did to its soldiers. Public opinion begins to shift. Not everywhere, not quickly, but shift it does. The Empire's legitimacy erodes. Worlds that acquiesced to Imperial rule start questioning. Resistance movements form on dozens of planets. 2 years after Order 66, the Jedi Resistance has grown to 800 Jedi, 12,000 freed clones, and support from 100 systems. It's still a tiny fraction compared to the Empire's might, but it's a movement, an insurgency, a threat Palpatine can no longer ignore. The Emperor summons his military commanders. He addresses them in the throne room he's built in the old Senate chamber, a seat of absolute power, dark and imposing. The Jedi resistance has become a cancer. It spreads despite our efforts to contain it. Every raid they conduct emboldens our enemies. Every clone they free weakens our military. This ends now. I want Anakin Skywalker found. I want every Jedi hideout destroyed. I want this movement crushed before it inspires wider rebellion. My Lord Admiral Tarkin speaks up, his face gaunt and sharp. We've been hunting the Jedi for 2 years. They're too scattered, too mobile. We need a different approach, suggests one. Bait. We offer something Skywalker can't resist, a target he'll have to attack. And when he does, we destroy him and everyone with him. What kind of bait? Jedi prisoners. We announce we're holding 200 captured Jedi in a facility on Mustafar. Set an execution date. Skywalker will attempt a rescue, and when he arrives, we'll be waiting with overwhelming force. Palpatine smiles. Do it. But make sure the bait is real. Actually capture Jedi and bring them to Mustafar. Skywalker will sense deception through the Force. This must be genuine. Over the next month, the Empire intensifies its hunt. They raid suspected Jedi safe houses, capturing anyone found. They offer bounties so large that every mercenary in the galaxy joins the hunt. And they capture Jedi, not 800 like they claim, but 70, enough to make the bait believable. The captured Jedi are transferred to Mustafar, a volcanic world in the Outer Rim, chosen specifically for its isolation and defensibility. A massive detention facility is constructed on a lava flow, surrounded by natural hazards and heavy Imperial defenses. The announcement goes out across the HoloNet. 73 Jedi traitors have been captured. They will be executed publicly in 30 days. This is the price of treason against the Empire. Anakin receives the news on the hidden station. 73 Jedi, men and women he knows. Friends, teachers, students, all scheduled to die in a month. It's a trap, Obi-Wan says immediately. Palpatine is baiting you. He knows you'll try to rescue them. Then we spring the trap, carefully, with enough force to succeed. Anakin, they have 6-star destroyers at Mustafar, planetary shields, ground-based turbo-laser batteries, fighter squadrons. This isn't Stygian Prime. They're prepared for a massive assault. We don't have the resources. Then we get them. Obi-Wan, we've been running and hiding for 2 years. Maybe it's time to stop playing it safe. Those are our people on Mustafar. We don't abandon them. The debate rages for days. Some Jedi support the rescue. Others argue it's suicide. The freed clones offer to help but acknowledge the odds are terrible. In the end, Anakin makes the decision. We're going. Not everyone. We can't risk the entire movement, but a strike force. Our best fighters. We hit Mustafar, free the prisoners, and escape before they can trap us. And if it goes wrong, Shak Ti asks, then we die fighting. But we die trying to save our own. That's what Jedi do. They assemble the strike force. 200 Jedi, 3,000 freed clones, and every ship they can muster. It's the largest military operation the Resistance has attempted. And possibly the last. Padme argues against Anakin going. Luke needs you. I need you. Don't throw your life away on a suicide mission. Those Jedi need me too. I can't ask others to risk their lives while I stay safe. Then take me with you. Absolutely not. You're staying here with Luke where it's safe. There is no safe, Anakin. Not while the Empire exists. If you're going to risk everything, I'm going too. As a senator, not a warrior. To witness, to document, so the galaxy knows what happened. Anakin wants to refuse, wants to lock her on the station where she can't follow. But Padme is right. If this is their last stand, someone needs to record it. And she's never been one to hide while others fight. All right, but you stay on the ship, away from the fighting. Promise me. I promise. They kiss, hold each other, memorize the feeling in case it's the last time. The fleet jumps to Mustafar. It's not an impressive fleet. 12 corvettes, 20 frigates, 100 smaller ships. Against the Empire's 6-star destroyers and planetary defenses, they're hopelessly outmatched. But they have surprise. The Empire expects Anakin to attack with stealth, not a frontal assault. They've positioned their forces to intercept infiltrators, not a battle fleet. All ships engage. Anakin orders from the command deck of their flagship, the Resolute. reclaimed from an Imperial shipyard 6 months ago. Focus fire on the Star Destroyers. Get us close enough to deploy ground forces. The two fleets collide in orbit over Mustafar. Turbolasers exchange fire. Fighters dogfight between capital ships. The Resolute's shields flare under sustained bombardment, but she holds, her guns hammering at the nearest Star Destroyer. It's not enough. The Imperial ships are too strong, too numerous. The Resistance fleet is being torn apart. We're losing, Rex reports. 3 corvettes destroyed. 2 frigates crippled. We can't hold this position. Then we break through. All power to forward shields. Ram if we have to. Get me to that planet. The Resolute surges forward, her engines screaming. She takes hit after hit, her shields failing, armor buckling. But she reaches the atmosphere, plunging toward Mustafar's surface with a dozen other ships following. They land near the detention facility, a fortress carved from black volcanic rock, surrounded by lava flows and defense turrets. Clone troopers and new Imperial stormtroopers, humans recruited to replace disloyal clones, man the walls, their weapons tracking the approaching ships. Deploy ground forces. Anakin orders, we have one chance to breach those walls before reinforcements arrive. Make it count. Jedi and freed clones pour from the ships, charging across the volcanic wasteland toward the fortress. Turbolasers fire from the walls, vaporizing attackers. Lava geysers erupt, blocking paths. The terrain itself is deadly. But the Jedi push forward, using the Force to deflect fire and protect their allies. Freed clones provide covering fire, their shots precise despite the chaos. They reach the walls and begin cutting through with thermal charges. Anakin leads from the front, his lightsaber carving through defenders. Ahsoka fights beside him, her twin blades weaving patterns of light. Obi-Wan coordinates the assault, his tactical mind finding weaknesses in the fortress defenses. They breach the walls, pour into the fortress interior, fight through corridors toward the detention levels where the captured Jedi are held. And that's when Palpatine springs his real trap. Clone troopers, tens of thousands of them hidden in underground bunkers, emerge from hidden doors. They surround the Resistance forces, cutting off escape routes. The fortress becomes a killing box. Fall back, Anakin shouts. It's a trap. Everyone retreat. But there's nowhere to retreat to. They're surrounded, outnumbered 10-1. The freed clones fight desperately, but they're being overwhelmed. Jedi fall under sustained blaster fire. Anakin fights toward the detention levels anyway. If they're going to die, at least they can free the prisoners first. Give them a chance to escape. He reaches the cells, uses the Force to rip the doors open. The 73 captured Jedi stagger out, weak and wounded but alive. Come on, we're getting out of here. There is no escape, Skywalker. The voice is cold, mechanical. Anakin turns and sees a figure in black armor descending the stairs, tall, imposing, breathing through a respirator. Not Vader, Anakin prevented that future, but someone similar, someone Palpatine created in Vader's absence. Who are you? I am the Emperor's hand, the weapon he forged when you refused to serve. The figure ignites a red lightsaber. I am what you should have been. They duel. The Emperor's hand is powerful. Trained in the dark side, skilled with a lightsaber, enhanced by cybernetics. But Anakin is the chosen one. His power in the Force is unmatched. Their blades clash across the detention level. The hand is relentless. But Anakin is better. He disarms the hand, destroys the cybernetic enhancements, leaves the figure broken on the ground. But the victory is hollow. Outside, the Resistance forces are being slaughtered. Freed clones dying by the hundreds. Jedi falling despite their skills. This isn't a rescue, it's a massacre. Anakin reaches out through the Force, desperate for a solution. And he feels something, a presence he knows. Strong in the dark side, but not entirely consumed by it. Count Dooku. The Separatist leader survived the war's end, imprisoned by the Empire rather than executed. He's been held on Mustafar in a cell near the Jedi prisoners. And through the Force, Anakin senses that Dooku wants to make a deal. Anakin finds Dooku's cell. The elderly Sith Lord looks diminished, his power dampened by Force-suppressing restraints. But his eyes are sharp, calculating. Skywalker. Come to gloat? Come to make a deal. You want out of this cell. I want to save my people. You have knowledge of this facility's layout, its defenses. Help us and I'll free you. Why would I help Jedi? Because Palpatine betrayed you. Used you. He's doing the same thing to the entire galaxy. Don't you want revenge? Dooku considers, then nods. Free me. I'll help you escape. But Skywalker, after this, we're enemies again. Don't expect mercy. I don't. I expect pragmatism. Anakin releases Dooku's restraints. The Sith Lord stands, stretching his aged limbs, and his power in the Force returns. He's still dangerous, still a servant of darkness. But right now, he's useful. There's a secondary hangar, Dooku says. Underground. Palpatine doesn't know about it. I built it during the Clone Wars as an escape route. If you can reach it, you might escape with some of your people. Show us. Dooku leads them through hidden passages. The freed Jedi and surviving Resistance fighters follow, fighting rearguard actions against pursuing Imperials. They lose more people with every corridor, 15 Jedi dead, 100 clones, but they reach the underground hangar. Ships are waiting. Old Separatist vessels. Mothballed, but functional. Dooku activates them with override codes, and the engines roar to life. Go, Dooku commands. I'll hold them here. Consider it payment for my freedom. You're staying? Someone has to collapse the tunnel after you leave. I'm old, Skywalker. I've lived long enough. This is a fitting end. Dying to spite Palpatine one last time. Anakin wants to argue, but there's no time. The Imperials are breaching the hangar. He boards a ship with the survivors, 73 freed prisoners, maybe 50 Resistance fighters, and Ahsoka who refused to leave his side. The ships launch, blasting through the facility's upper levels and into Mustafar's ash-choked sky. Behind them, Dooku holds the hangar entrance alone, his red lightsaber cutting through clone troopers, his Force lightning throwing back their advance. Then he collapses the tunnel with the Force, burying himself and the pursuing Imperials under tons of volcanic rock. Count Dooku dies not as a Sith Lord, but as a man seeking redemption. The surviving ships reach orbit. Only 3 vessels escaped Mustafar. Out of 200 Jedi who attacked, 37 survived. Out of 3,000 freed clones, fewer than 200. The rescue mission was a catastrophic failure, but they saved the 73 prisoners. That's something. They return to the hidden station. Padme is waiting, Luke in her arms. When she sees how few ships returned, her face goes pale. She searches the survivors until she finds Anakin, and then she runs to him, holding him desperately. I thought you were dead. They're reporting total casualties. The HoloNet says the entire Jedi Resistance was destroyed. Most of it was. Padme, we lost so many. Good people. Friends. All because I walked into Palpatine's trap. You saved the prisoners, brought them home. That matters. Does it? Was saving 73 Jedi worth losing 163 others? Was it worth losing 3,000 clones? Did we accomplish anything besides getting good people killed? Padme has no answer. Neither does anyone else. The Mustafar disaster has broken the Resistance's momentum. They're back to hiding, scattered, weakened. That night the surviving Jedi gather. They're grieving, exhausted, questioning whether continuing the fight is worth it. Yoda addresses them, his voice heavy with age and sorrow. Dark times these are. Lost much we have, but surrender we must not. Fight on we must, because alternatives worse are. Live under Sith rule, the galaxy will. If stop them, we do not. But how? One Jedi asks. We've tried fighting. We've tried resistance. Every time we act, we lose people. Maybe we should just hide. Survive. Wait for a better opportunity. No. Anakin stands, his voice firm despite his own doubts. Hiding means the Empire wins. Palpatine wants us broken, afraid, scattered so thoroughly we can never reorganize. If we stop fighting, we prove him right. We prove the Jedi are finished. Maybe we are finished, another Jedi says bitterly. 300 of us against an empire of trillions. It's hopeless. Then we make hope. Not through big victories, we're not strong enough for those, but through small acts. Saving one person at a time. Freeing one clone at a time. Inspiring one system at a time. That's how we win. Not in a single battle, but through persistence. Through refusing to give up even when it seems hopeless. Obi-Wan stands beside him. Anakin's right. The Jedi have survived dark times before. We survived the Sith Wars, the Great Schism, countless other crises. We survive by adapting, by persisting, by remembering that even a single candle can push back darkness. It's not enthusiasm, that died on Mustafar, but it's acceptance. They'll keep fighting because the alternative is unthinkable. Over the next year, the Resistance changes tactics. No more large operations, no more direct confrontations with Imperial forces. They become ghosts, small cells operating independently, hitting soft targets, disappearing before the Empire can respond. They rescue slaves from Imperial labor camps, assassinate corrupt governors, sabotage weapons factories. Every action small, but together they erode Imperial authority. And the freed clones continue their work. Rex's network grows to 8,000, then 12,000. Each freed clone removes chips from his brothers when possible. The Empire tries to stop them, but the clones are too embedded, too essential to military operations. 3 years after Order 66, the galaxy is different. The Empire controls most systems, but that control is contested. Resistance movements exist on hundreds of worlds. The Jedi, though reduced to barely 200 survivors, remain active and dangerous. And Anakin Skywalker's son Luke is 3 years old, strong in the Force, bright and curious, growing up in a galaxy at war but surrounded by love. One day, when Luke asks why they're always moving, always hiding, Anakin tells him the truth. Because bad people rule the galaxy, and we're trying to make it better. Will you win? I don't know, but we'll keep trying. That's what matters. Can I help? Anakin looks at his son, so small, so innocent, and feels the weight of the future. This child shouldn't have to fight, shouldn't have to know war. But in this galaxy, there's no escape. Someday, when you're older. For now, just be a kid. Let the adults handle the fighting. But Luke is already Force-sensitive, already showing signs of power. And Anakin knows that eventually his son will join the fight. Not as the hero who redeems Vader. That timeline was prevented. But as a Jedi in his own right, a warrior for the light. The war continues. Years pass. The Empire remains strong, but the Resistance endures. Palpatine grows frustrated. Order 66 was supposed to end the Jedi permanently. Instead, they persist like a disease he can't cure. And in the dark, Palpatine plans. Not the quick victory he wanted, but a longer game. Build the Death Star. Create fear so absolute that no one dares resist. Crush the rebellion through terror rather than military might. But building a Death Star takes decades. And in those decades, the Jedi Resistance will grow, new recruits, new allies, new hope. The story doesn't end with a single battle. It ends with the understanding that the fight for freedom never truly ends. Light and darkness are eternal. The struggle continues across generations. Anakin Skywalker prevented his fall to the dark side, stopped himself from becoming Darth Vader. But he couldn't prevent the Empire, couldn't save the Republic, couldn't restore the Jedi Order to its former glory. What he did do was save thousands who would have died, give them a chance to fight back, create a resistance that will eventually, decades from now, topple Palpatine's regime. It's not the victory he wanted, but it's the victory that was possible. And sometimes, that has to be enough. Epilogue. 20 years later, Luke Skywalker is 23 years old, a Jedi Knight trained by his father, skilled in the Force and lightsaber combat. He leads a cell of young Jedi, children born during the Resistance, raised in hiding, now ready to fight. The Empire still stands. Emperor Palpatine still rules. But the Resistance has grown stronger. No longer just scattered Jedi, but a full rebel alliance. Thousands of systems, millions of fighters, united against tyranny. Anakin is older now, his hair graying, his prosthetic hand needing constant maintenance. But he still fights, still leads, still inspires. Padme serves in the Rebel Senate. Yes, they have a Senate, a government in exile, maintaining democratic traditions while the Empire abandons them. She's a voice of reason, a symbol of the Republic that was. And across the galaxy, freed clones number in the hundreds of thousands. The Empire tried to replace them with stormtroopers, but the clones sabotaged that transition, making themselves indispensable. Now they serve both sides, officially Imperial, secretly Rebel. The final battle approaches. The rebels have learned of the Death Star, the Emperor's ultimate weapon. They're planning an assault to destroy it before it becomes operational. Anakin will lead that assault. Luke will fight beside him. Father and son, together against the darkness. They don't know if they'll win. The odds are still terrible. But they have hope. And in a galaxy ruled by fear, Hope is a weapon more powerful than any Death Star. As Anakin prepares for the battle, he thinks back to Order 66, the day the Jedi fell. The day everything changed. He wonders what the galaxy would look like if Order 66 had succeeded completely. If all the Jedi had died. He'll never know, because it failed. Not completely, 7,000 still died. But it failed enough. 3,000 survived. And those 3,000 became the seeds of rebellion. Anakin Skywalker prevented his transformation into Darth Vader. But he didn't prevent all suffering, didn't stop the Empire, didn't save everyone. He saved enough. And that's what matters. The Force is with him. Always has been, always will be. And the fight continues. The end. Subscribe for more alternate Star Wars timelines. Comment what if scenario you'd like to see next.